Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Cities by Steven. Welcome back to the city of New Lancaster. This is episode 7, I believe, and part 2 of the Thanksgiving special. Something a little bit different today is last night, or when I was recording this, I forgot to record my voice over this game as well. I recently switched up my mics, as you know, and it requires something a little bit different to record. And silly me, yesterday morning when I was recording this, I kind of forgot about that. So yeah, we're gonna be working in this little area here. So pretty much what's gonna happen today is this video is gonna be run at a bit faster speed, and I'm going to talk over top of what we're doing here. So last episode we built this Dunbell interchange here, but I forgot to to finish it off. I forgot some of the off ramps. So we did that, or I added that off camera when I realized. And I was also kind of manipulating some of the nodes around there to make it a bit smoother ramps. And I even started playing around with the lane marking tool, which is a mod that you can see draw in lanes. And we also built this bridge out here to this island. The idea behind this was that this is going to be like a big nature reserve, but there's going to be like a little town right around here. So looking forward to that when we get to it, at least. But today we're going to focus on doing the forestry industry and the farming industry over there. But first of all, we're going to look into the city, or the old city of New Lancaster, which is this town right here. And I think we're going to start looking at adding some more residential. And I think here I'm saying that we're going to start doing the fishing industry, but we don't get to that this episode. In the future, we will definitely get to that. Oh, there we go. Build another residential. It's really important in early cities to get your residential as high as possible, or up as high as possible, as early as possible, because that levels up your city and unlocks everything you need to do to build in the game, right? So it's definitely a really important requirement. And if you're like, this city is just a giant grid, I'm like, yeah, that's exactly true, and that's exactly what I'm going for in this beginning town. But as we expand farther out, we're going to get more diverse road layouts. But in an old style East Coast Canadian city like this, the downtown should definitely be a grid. That's kind of how they're all modeled out anyways, so trying to follow that theme at least. So right now I'm talking about how we need to get the unemployment up higher. The higher the unemployment rate, the faster jobs grow, because there's people that are unemployed, right? Kind of like how it works in the real life, I guess. So we were looking at getting as many residents as possible before that, and we're also checking up on the city vitals here. So I noticed that the garbage processing wasn't doing too good, so we needed another recycling plant. Recycling plants give off a lot of pollution, and so you want to keep that away from your residential areas as much as possible. So in Industrial Square here is where we're adding it in. I try to keep all my dirty industries out in the same area. This is a little glitchy right there. You get that when you use the Anarchy mod. But it seems like a pretty smooth transition out right there anyways. So this is something we're going to do in the future, is we're going to start paving the roads more. And later on in this episode, when we get to the industries, the farming industry and the forestry industry, we're going to look at asymmetrical roads. They are just amazing for handling the traffic of this game. I'm really excited to see how this industrial area grows. Eventually, we're going to have to move the garbage out of here into a new area, but that won't happen until we unlock some more tiles. Oh, we're looking at some death care. It's really important to make sure that you're always looking at the health of your citizens. And elder care centers are one way to really prolong the lives of your citizens. And when you do this, it helps prevent death waves in your city. The way the game works is when you zone a bunch of residential area at once, a lot of the time there's a lot of people who move in at the same age, so they die relatively at the same age. The lifespans of citizens in this game is not realistic, so people die way more often, and so you need to make sure that you maintain your elder care because it helps prolong their lives and helps eliminates death waves. This is a mod that I found on the Steam Workshop. It's really cute. It's a little church, and I think it goes really well beside the cemetery, and it counts as a school, so you get some education bonuses from it as well, and it looks really, really good. Here we're just zoning off the church, and we're going to try to find a park, but we're not going to find one we like, so we're going to just zone in some residential here. If you're new to the channel, this is not how we normally do the videos. This is just a one-time thing because I'm silly and forgot to record with my separate application off of what I used to do when I recorded with just a gaming headset. But our education wasn't faring too well, so we needed to get another elementary school in. We only had one prior to this, and now we have 3 because technically that church counts. And as you just saw, we just leveled up the city park, Alexander Keith Memorial Park, and with the level 5 park, you unlock the trampoline park, which is kind of weird, not gonna lie. A trampoline park, I've never seen anything like that in like a public area before. But maybe that's just not a Canadian thing. Yeah, and if you're new here, again, what we're doing here is we're building a Canadian themed city. That's what Cities by Skylines, or Cities by Skylines, Cities by Steven does, is we build themed cities, and this one is a maritime themed Canadian city. There's a trampoline park. Last episode we detailed Alexander Case Memorial Park, and I gotta say it looks really nice. But no room for a trampoline park. And there's Mr. Alexander Keith himself. And here's the Elder Care Center, which we're going to add in. They don't cost that much, and they really do a lot for the citizens, or your citizens' health. So highly recommend getting as many of them in residential areas as possible, because they only have like a zone area that they cover. And we're just going to smooth out this mountain here as we kind of dig into it. That's probably as far as we're going to go up the mountain for now. And after we zoned all that residential, we kind of boosted the unemployment rate, which allows us to start building more jobs. And one of the things we're going to do that is we're going to start the farming industry out this way. So one of the reasons why we built the interchange last episode was to get access to both sides of the highway there, because I didn't want to rebuild the highway because I like how it's split between the forestry industry, like the forestry area and the farming area. But right here we're talking about where the big city is going to be. So I'm expecting the financial district to be just south of New Lancaster here, and I want to build like a secondary suburban area right in this little quadrant right here. This interchange is going to have to be destroyed at some point. It looks really good, but we're going to have to remodel it at least. But in order to access that area, we're going to need to build another interchange here, but just like a simple off-ramp type interchange, because we don't need it to connect to another highway. This is going to be an exit. So we're going to settle on just a simple little I think it's called a trumpet interchange. If I'm wrong, please put a comment down below so I can correct myself for the future. But I think this looks really nice, and the way it's styled is the curve is to the left, and on the interchange to the right of this area, the curve is to the right. So I feel like it looks really nice from the sky. And I should have before you build highways, you should always make sure that the area is a bit more, a bit flatter. But uh, in a second here, I'm going to fix up what we should have done, and a little trick here that I'm going to show you, because you're going to see me mess it up, is I'm just about to delete this off ramp here. Oh, the lane mathematics, always really important. Just make sure you always have an exit lane for the off ramps. But you see how the highway off ramp just kind of glitched out into the mountain there. So I'm just about to try to level it off, and it's not going to work. So I'm going to delete it. But another trick is you can just select all that area with the Move It mod, and just page down on your keypad if you're on the computer, and it'll lower it. You don't need to rebuild it. But if you're on the Xbox, you might as well, or PlayStation, I guess it's on there, you might as well just delete it and rebuild it. It's a little trickier to do on there. I'm not even sure if you can. But yeah, look how easy this was. I should have just done this in the first place. So it saves you some money, and you know, a bit quicker too if you remember. There we go. This is when I notice it. Look how easy it is. Plus it looks really nice too. So we're gonna get a like a secondary little city here. My plan for this little area is going to be more like the suburbs, or like just like not the suburbs, the residential area for the larger city that's going to come up momentarily. But I feel like this was a good area to purchase because we got a lot of highway that we can manipulate. And this area here is going to be just prime real estate for residential development when we develop our financial district in a future episode. So we're just smoothing out the land here to build a roundabout. This isn't how I'm going to end all my interchanges, but it's a really easy, quick way to start off a highway exit. Not really a traditional maritime way of building a highway exit, but it's a traditional City Skylines way of making a highway exit. Whoa. The movement mod comes in so much handy, so many handies. It comes very much handy. Because if you can't just snap it in, it's just really easy just to move it around. It's very efficient. There we go. So if you haven't seen this before, it's important to brace your roundabout with an interior cross there until you get roads on all four corners, or all three exit corners, I guess, of the circle. Just so the circle doesn't get wonky when you start building roads off of it. Kind of braces it. Right now we're using Traffic Manager, and it's important to do that in roundabouts because you don't want lights accidentally, like traffic lights accidentally in your roundabouts. That's going to defeat the purpose of them. Yeah, so the Traffic Manager, which is what you see in the bottom right above Springwood. Springwood? Why is it called Springwood? Interesting. Gonna have to make sure that's changed. That must be a glitch or something. Huh. Well, the city's name is not Springwood. It's New Lancaster. That is really strange. Why it's like that. I swear we changed it at one point. But this is where we're going to build the town, the little residential area to start off with at least. We're going to build a bit of water and like a little bit of industrial zone. We're going to get some water out this way as well, because we need to get some pipes out this way. And I don't like usually crossing rivers with water pipes. Just doesn't really bode for being realistic. But hey, we leveled up to Busy Town, which is great because we unlocked some of the decorative roads and a lot of other useful buildings. But I just said that I don't like crossing rivers with water pipes, and I'm just about to break my own little rule here. Once we start building the forestry industry and the agriculture industry, yeah, I guess so. Because it's just a little bit easier than getting like a third water system going. So we're gonna build the residential area this way. So we're gonna level it off just a bit more. Just makes building a bit easier. I mean, you can build along the mountains here, but I want this to be like a core part of the city, so I figured that leveling it off is probably going to be best for the town. We're also going to make like a little cliffside road here. I drove from Ontario to the Maritimes last summer, and these roads alongside of rivers and the ocean or the bays are really beautiful. So I want to make sure I get some of those roads in here as well in the city. When you're connecting a grid to like a straight road to a curved road, you always want to make a node right before you connect to the curved road, like you saw just previously here, because it kind of helps brace the rest of the road, so you don't get too wonky of what's this called? Like the grid that's I'm coloring in right now. The zonable area. That's what the word. The zonable area. So now that we're getting some residential areas in here, we're going to start building the farming industry. And I just upgraded this road to the industrial road. It looks a bit more rustic and what would be in a farming area. So we're going to start off by kind of figuring where we want the farmhouse, which is kind of the farm main building. So we're going to put it out that way, out towards the river. And we're going to make it look like this area was kind of like dug into an old farming area, if that makes any sense. And we're going to build an industrial road along the side of the highway. Maybe it was like the old highway before the national highway, like this highway was put in, and the road still exists and still accesses the farm. So we're going to zone in the farm area right here. So it's going to be this entire little sectioned off area of the highway. Will we use all of it? Probably not. We might get some housing in there to fill the gaps, but we'll see when we get there. So I didn't want to connect this road because I'm trying to force all the traffic through that one highway exit. And if you've never made a farming industry, or any industry in general, you have to zone the area first, and then you place the first building down, and then it unlocks everything you need to start leveling up the industry. So here's me breaking my rule. Realized I don't want to to build another water system out on this peninsula, so just put another bridge. And then water is my least favorite part of this game. It's very frustrating. There's mods that put it under roads, so like you build a road and water pipes are automatically underneath it, but I'm already using a mod that does that with power, so I didn't want to use it. 2 mods that help with that. So I find the power one is really helpful because you don't need to like drag power lines everywhere, and it doesn't look the best, and you always forget that you need to hook them up, and then all of a sudden half your town doesn't have power, and you get some abandoned buildings, and that's not good. So a little trick here: the light green on the map is good agricultural land. The darker green is less good agricultural land. So when you're planning out your farming industry, you got to make sure that you put the actual farms on the light green, and animal pastures and other non crop producing buildings or zone areas, I guess, go in the darker green stuff, or like closer to the road where you can group them together or something like that. But when you're making an industry that leads out into an interchange like this, you really need to make sure that the area is going to be able to handle high traffic. So I've talked about this before in videos, but you really don't want to avoid using traffic lights. Unless you absolutely have to, you can use the traffic light in the traffic manager page, which is that little, it says V11, there's a traffic light, yeah, right there. There's a traffic light, a time traffic light that you can manipulate the times of the traffic, and that's the only traffic light you should use, and you should only use it at when you absolutely need to. Otherwise, try to use yield signs, and yeah, because yield signs act as you would hope traffic lights or stop signs would work in this game. So when you're building a farming industry, what's going to happen is you need to have an area that your crops go into, so grain silos. The trucks go from the grain silos, go from the farms to the grain silos to put product in, obviously, and then they take grain and give it out to the outside market, or into your industrial area, or to your animal pastures. So you want to make sure that it's in its own little area and it has really good traffic in and out of it. So that's why we were setting up those asymmetrical roads, because it's really important for those trucks to be able to make turns out of that area. As you see, it was already getting really busy as trucks were filling it up from outside sources. So I wanted a little tree farm out this way, and we chose apples because that's very maritime themed, and we're going to choose potatoes for the crops because that's also very maritime themed. New Brunswick is known for its potatoes, as the McCain's commercial suggests. And there's lots of apples as well out there. Great crop producing soil out in the Maritimes. So here I'm just explaining the colors of the soil to make sure that you don't put an animal farm on prime crop area. So you want to put it kind of in a darker green area. And I wanted to make this farmhouse kind of look like it was a traditional, like it was traditionally there before all the roads were put in, and the roundabout and the highway. So it's got its own little orchard in the back, its own little pig farm and some crops. And then we're going to start building the more industrial style farming out alongside the industrial road we put out beside the highway earlier. But we're not going to get to that this video. That's going to probably be in the next video or the one after that. So I'm just making sure the traffic manager is set up properly, because it is very important that you manage the traffic out of your industrial areas. So in a later episode, we'll see that you can turn crops into flour, and that flour can be used for unique goods or sold to the outside market. It's also really important that you have warehouses available to store your goods. So there's no warehouse storage possibility for crops, that's just for the grain silos, but animal products get stored inside warehouses. So to keep it thematic, I use the small warehouse, not the warehouse yard for this. I always try to think, like, to make it thematic, what kind of goods are you storing in there, and what kind of warehouse would you want, and you don't want to store animal products on an outside storage yard, right? So you want like a refrigerated warehouse, and that's what that kind of looks like. So that's what we're going to use. So we're going to just need to wait for this to level up. It's not going to level up this episode, but it definitely will next episode. We're just going to zone in some more roads here, and then we're going to build the forestry industry, or at least start it off. So this town started growing pretty rapidly, and we started getting some more residential demand. If you look in the bottom part of the map, the orange bar is industrial, the blue bar is commercial, and the green bar is residential. Residential demand, whenever you see green there, try to build some housing, because population growth is very important in this game. But for the blue and orange bars, don't go by, my suggestion would be do not go by what it shows there. Go by unemployment. So we've already looked at unemployment before, and after we've built all these houses, unemployment's definitely gone up. So you can kind of take it as a hint in that way, but just because there is demand for it doesn't mean you need to build it. So right here I'm getting a little frustrated by the fact that the grid wasn't lining up perfectly. So I just gave up and zoned it in. We're going to get just a bit of industry out this way, just kind of fill in the area a bit around the water tank or water sewage plant. But this is the area we're going to do the forestry industry, and so we're going to smooth it out a bit, just to make it a bit nicer to build on. And I'm going to teach you guys a little cheat when you're doing forestry industry. If you don't have many trees in an area you want to have forestry industry on, I don't condone cheating, but a little trick you can use is you just go to the tree building area or tree building tool, and you find the type of tree that's being used on the map, and then you just zone in some trees. It doesn't cost that much money, and it increases your yield. A little cheating way of doing it, but it helps if just in case you want to build in an area that doesn't really have trees, you know? Little tips and tricks with Cities by Steven. So again, by just getting this industrial road out by the highway, kind of looks like a lot of highways I've driven past where there's roads alongside of it. Plus, it's going to be really easy for the industry trucks to get in and out of that area while we start extending out towards the river more on both sides. It's not where the road's going to end, it's going to keep going, but we don't need it to go that far. Alright, so we get the forestry area main building right here. Right off the main road, fits in perfectly right there. And we're going to get some roads off of the industrial avenue in order to build some buildings off of it. So when we plop that down, we're going to get unlock 3 types of buildings here. So we're going to have a storage building, we're going to have a sawmill, and we're going to have like a tree farm. And the way the forestry industry works is from the tree farm, trees get cut down and put into the log yard, and then sawmills then take logs from the log yard and produce planed timber. The planed timber is used for special goods, sold outside the city, and used in the industrial areas of your city. So this is a small log yard. We're definitely going to need more of these in the future, because I plan on getting a rather large forestry industry unlocked out here, or built out here. And the magic of Move It is going to be on display in the forestry industry, because I try to squeeze everything in as tight as possible in that little front area that we're building, because it's going to look really nice all jumbled up in that area. Now if you're building an industry, doesn't matter if it's oil, or crops, a farm. um, if you don't like how you built it, you can always rearrange it, right? And that's what makes it amazing. So right here I'm trying to squeeze a second one in, and you see it's overlapping the road a bit. So you just drag the road out a bit, and I'm trying to make it look like these two sawmills are kind of like one larger one. So I'm going to try to connect them by using Move It. And I wanted to upgrade the roads first to larger roads so that we can kind of make sure we see what the roads are going to look like before we place it in. So these are the trees we're going to use. Just trying to figure out where we're putting them. Here's the trick. So when I was originally recording this, I thought I was teaching you the trick right here, but now that you know the trick, you can see. So didn't find the tree, found the tree. That's the same type of tree that's being used. Turn the brush up and just comb it in. I don't condone cheating. I just recommend it. Turns the yield up for the forestry industry, which only improves the city. And if you're set on a certain type of area for your forestry industry, why not use it, right? Alright, so trucks are going to start going to those trees and start loading up the logs in the log yard. And then the logs are going to be taken out by the sawmills and cut up into plain timber. And then we're going to add a medium warehouse for the plain timber, because we're going to start making lots of plain timber really fast. And it fits up perfectly right there too. So how could you not, right? The music sounds kind of funny on 2x speed, which is what we're watching it. Now, when you're building a major industrial area like this, there's definitely tendency for fires to occur, right? So you want to make sure that you have enough fire coverage out this way. Because I was building two industrial zones at the same time, there wasn't as much demand for the jobs out that way. So a good way to try to force jobs into an area is to just start creating more job availability. So our jobs haven't pretty much moved since the last time we looked at the farm, but since we started adding the forestry industry, it's kind of started to take jobs away from that area. So a good way to try to get more people in the city to have jobs is to zone residential. Even though it's kind of far away from from the town, or from the forestry industry. But we're going to need some names for these towns. So this area is going to Empire Park. Right there is going to be a residential area of the main city of New Lancaster. And we're also going to need names for Farm, which I so aptly named Farm. And we're going to need a name for Pine Woodland, because it's kind of funny that there's no pines there. Yeah, that's the name of it. We're going to definitely draw a road in from the industrial area into the city. It's going to definitely help with bringing people in. It's important to watch your budget. And hey, we leveled up to level 2 forestry industry, and we unlocked a few things. And one thing we unlocked was the furniture factory. That's one of the first factories you unlock, and they make a lot of money for you. This is the forestry industry workers barracks, and it helps improve the efficiency of the industry. And I gotta say, that's probably the coolest looking workers' barracks out of any of the industry buildings that we've seen, that is seen in this game. It looks like its own little sawmill altogether. And we also unlock the biomass pellet plant, which is really good. It's for paper, and making paper is also a really key material in this game. And as you see, there's already a lot of heavy traffic on the road, so you have to make sure that your roads are set up properly to be able to handle this. So asymmetrical roads are really important. If you're playing on the Xbox or PlayStation version of the game, you only really have one asymmetrical road, which is the one we're dealing with right here. But if you're playing on the PC, there's a mod called Network Extensions, which allows you to have multiple types of asymmetrical roads, which are the most key road type in the game. We're going to definitely start using them a lot more often. And even though we have a little warehouse area here, I thought that a warehouse out this way would be really good to get paper in, because it's right beside the paper mill, and really easy for just the paper to go right into the factory there, and that's all the traffic on that road is just for the paper industry. So unfortunately we don't level up the farm this episode, but that's okay. It'll definitely level up next episode, and great that we unlocked that furniture factory. But the areas come along really nicely. I rather like it, to be honest. And especially once we get that bridge in between the industrial square and the forestry industry there, we're going to start really getting a lot more traffic along that. And it's going to help the movement of our city a lot more. But New Lancaster is coming along really nicely. Sure looks like a really good city, and now we're getting 2 areas of growth as well as a new industrial area. So this city's coming along really nicely, guys, and I'm really excited for the next video. It's going to come out on Wednesday. I'm excited to play it. I'm excited to show you guys what New Lancaster comes to be. I'm sorry for the bit of a shorter video than was promised on Sunday, but I still hope that you guys like it. And if this is your first time here, please go watch the other videos and hit the like button and the subscribe button, and make sure to get that bell notification on. Have a great rest of your holiday Monday, everyone in Canada, and peace out.